Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 9300 Southwest Center Street here in Tigard. We're located down inside the crawl space. It's a 4-inch line, it's a 3-inch cap. We've got 4-inch cast iron pipe here we're going into. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. Here we go. I'm going to keep things moving pretty quick here just to get out to the street. We'll roll back in slower when we push out. It looks like we're hitting some kind of Y connection right here. Not exactly sure what it's coming from, but there's a Y there. Transitions here over to what appears to be, it's 4-inch pipe for sure. I believe it's concrete. We'll go a little further here. Yeah, we're definitely in concrete. And at the end, we'll get the line totally drained out, make sure the water line's not hiding anything from us too. And this appears right here, I'm going to count the length between the joints. I think this is transite concrete. Yeah, definitely transite. We've got joints about every 10 feet like you normally will, transite concrete. We've got some, if you look at the top of the pipe here, there's some kind of ridges up there. I don't know exactly what those are, but they don't appear to be damaged, at least at this point. We'll take a good look at everything on the way out. Get a better picture then. Alrighty, and here at 56 feet, we have reached the main lateral connection. I'm going to go do locates to verify where the line terminates at. And then we'll let this drain out totally so we can have a good look at everything on the way back in. Alright, located the camera head successfully. The line goes out the rear of the home, makes a turn, and then heads out to this side street. If you're looking at the front door of the house from the roadway, this goes out to the street directly to the right of this home, not out to Center Street. It looks like we're all drained out at this point. We're going to go ahead and reel the camera back in. Yeah, those little bumps up there, they might just simply be a deformation in the pipe when it was put together or first formed way back in the day. There's no obvious cracks there, anything like that. It just looks like a deformation, and it's in the top of the pipe, not in the flow line. Nothing I'm concerned about there at all. And thank goodness it went out the direction it did. This tree over here to the left of the house is an absolute monster. It would otherwise probably have a whole bunch of roots in it had it gone out the other direction. We've got some debris that's collected right here at this joint. I am not seeing any root hairs or anything protruding out from it. And as far as I can tell, it looks like the stuff may have just hung up there because there is a small lip on that pipe, but I don't see any other obvious situations going on here. It's possible there's a gap between the joint. If you look off to the left side of the screen, you can see that those two pieces of pipe have somewhat separated, and that might be the reason why stuff hung up here. But there's no way for me to, and generally if a line is opened up to the ground, it's going to be quite obvious. You're going to have dirt flowing into the pipe. It'll be protruding out from that joint, and also the possibility of having roots come through. But the black color in between that joint there looks like the rubber fern coat. As best I can tell, I'm not seeing an obvious sign that it's open to the ground there. We have some debris that's hung up at that spot. I think that's more than anything is due to the fact there's a little bit of space between the joint that the stuff's getting caught in. And we do have aggregate rock that's showing through, so this may not be, it looks like transite concrete in the way that the joints are put together, but there's aggregate rock in the flow line. Transite is an asbestos product, or asbestos cement that doesn't have rock in it. Now we are starting to see aggregate showing through. It's it's showing its age. It's not quite to the point where you just need to update it. But once the aggregate starts to show through more than it is now, it can cause stuff to hang up. Just because it's not smooth anymore, it's kind of rough, and you lose a little bit of the water volume because the water starts to kind of seep down in between the little rocks there rather than sitting on a smooth surface. So this is a line that I would plan on doing an update to at some point in the near future. So far here I'm not seeing any standing water. We'll see if we see any more on the way back here. Now this right here, we do have roots coming through at 13 feet out. I'm going to pull back here just a little bit, see if we see any more root. Oh, and it's right there at the cast iron transition. So we'll get that marked for a spot repair. And then right here we have some little stringy things poking out from the side of the pipe. It's stuff that's kind of underneath some rust scale. More than likely that's just, it could be dental floss or something like that that's hung up in the pipe there. That immediately does not, it kind of looks like a root, but I don't think it is a root. This right here is definitely roots. So here's how I'm looking at this line. At the age that it is right now, it's one of those that you certainly can spot repair it. A line of this age, though, once you start spot repairing it, in my opinion, you might as well do a full update to it. You can do whatever you want, but it's an old enough line that spot repairing it wouldn't necessarily be my first option. I realize that updating is more expensive, but this line would be a fantastic candidate to do an epoxy liner on it. It drains out very nicely. It's got good slope and grade still. But it's at an age where I don't know that it is really worth spending, maybe $1,200, $1,500, possibly even more, to dig up this one joint when it might cost you only $2,500 to fully line the whole pipe, maybe a little bit more than that. That's my point being. You might spend half the amount to repair one joint as you would to update the entire pipe. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I'll get this located. At the very least, I recommend a spot repair to correct this joint here. Ideally, this would be a good time to do a full update. Not that it necessarily needs it right at this moment, but it's showing enough age that I think it would be a good idea. Okay, I've got this located and marked. It's out back. It's straddling the dirt and the edge of it's just partially underneath a little concrete walkway in the back. At 1 foot 10 inches deep. So at the least there, I recommend a spot repair to correct that. The reason and keep in mind, those roots are not to a point right now where they're just catching everything coming down the line. So this is a situation where you could probably live with it. We're not seeing any debris hanging up there at this point anyway. So if you need to buy some time, this one would allow you to do that. It's not a root ball that's so big it's just going to back up on you the first day you're in here. But it's one that I would either do a spot repair on it. You could give it some time, or honestly I think your best bet here, most cost-effective thing, would be to do an epoxy liner on it and fully update the concrete section. It being 4-inch pipe and not 6-inch, it's usually around $80 a foot, somewhere in that ballpark. I think that would be a very good option here. But at the very least, I recommend a spot repair to correct that root intrusion. The rest of the pipe there, although showing some age, there's one joint that's a little in question. There's some debris collected at it. You could also have roots there. There's nothing protruding out from the debris that's in the joint. So it's hard for me to confirm that. So everything else beyond that joint appears to be doing its job at this point. It's just very, very old and nearing the end of its lifespan. After any repair work is done, I'd highly recommend a rescope to make sure the repair looks good. But at this time, we do have adequate flow of the main lateral, and the line is functioning at this time, even despite the roots that are in there.